Well, I just want to welcome all of you and thank you all so much for coming. Dara, and we love talking to people in the design world. Elizabeth Lawrence, my partner, and I came up with this idea that it would be fun to have the next generation of stars and come and pick my brain.
So I have a few questions.
Dara, you come up.
We can start there.
There's nobody in the design world who I respect more than Dara.
Aww.
She has the most extraordinary eye, and everything she's touched has been magic and so meaningful, and I really mean that.
Thank you. It means a lot. It means everything coming from you. First question. I love your layered effect you bring into your spaces. What's your favorite item to layer?
Find something that makes those layering things personal. If they like dogs, like I love dogs, so find a bronze dog and they'll say, oh, that looks like Otis or something. So all of a sudden they get it. You know, they kind of get engaged in it a little bit more. You're not just bringing a crate of stuff that they don't get.
What's your advice on scaling up a business sustainably? Like, how do you deal with the pace? How do you consider multiple streams of revenue? I guess, in terms of your design business, if you're selling antiques, whatever.
The revenue streams only are going to come once you have an established business. But you're not going to get those licensing deals unless you have a name. If you're really passionate about this business, you need to work somewhere. You need to get to know people in the industry. You need a support staff. You need to know what's going on. How do you get your first client? How does it come to you? Even if you live in one room, make that room as personal and exciting as you can do it, and photograph it and put it online. You've got to figure out ways to tell your story in a unique way. I'm going to give you all an idea and you can run with it because I had it yesterday. You want to be clever? Why don't you do a dollhouse and decorate it over in different styles and post that. If you don't have projects to do it, you may have to make it, you'll have to source it, but it could be fun. It shows a creative personality and a creative mind.
But in terms of growing your office, like at what point do you feel like it's okay to hire employees?
If I was going to hire anybody starting out, I would make sure that I did all the shopping, all the picking out, all the scheming, but I would have somebody to make sure that the back work, which I'm not very good at anyway, always have to remember, we are a business and we are just completely transparent. I've had clients I've done 5 or 6 projects for because there's a trust. They don't question the integrity. And I think that it's essential if you're going to build a business, you need that reputation, because you do something wrong once and then that person says, oh, you don't want to use them because, they overcharged me, or I don't know how they charged her. You can't have that happen.
In terms of a bookkeeper, so I have 2 designer friends who've gotten ripped off by their bookkeepers. Do you have any advice about that?
I got ripped off by a bookkeeper.
You did? Yeah.
When I first started, and I had this bookkeeper. First of all, she was using all of the American Express miles to fly to Costa Rica to gamble, and then something else. I don't know. It was very complicated. We have our in-house bookkeeper, and then we have an accounting office. So there's somebody looking over that. So usually the bookkeeper doesn't do your taxes, and what you want is to try to find somebody who does the taxes who will be a little bit more involved in it. But you need a checkpoint, because that accountant needs to know that, at least quarterly when you do your taxes, that there's somebody really scrutinizing.
What color do you think of when you hear the word decorator?
I don't know. Color is so personal. Some people are afraid of color, and some people just put as much color as they possibly can in a room. I'm somewhere in between. I love color, but I think color should be neutralized, and I don't want to live in a room with every primary color I've ever seen thrown together, though I love primary colors, but then I like to set them off with something calmer. It's fun to think of color and how you mix it and tone it down.
All right. right, so who has questions?
I can tell you the client not to take is the one that calls you up and said, I've had 4 decorators and it's not worked out and I just know you're going to be the perfect one. And I said, no, I'm not. Don't fall for that one. You've got to talk about money. You've got to talk about money. Scale is everything. It's like Goldilocks. You got to get it just right.